Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies, strengthening your business while offering your talents to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network here with Christine Deane, our certified marketing coach within the network. Also want to say hi to the Kingdom Warriors University, those who are learning and tracking and growing with us. There are so many topics we can cover when it comes to marketing, but today we're going to do an overarching discussion around what we call the Giver Marketing Blueprint. It's the basics, it's the non-negotiables, it's the hey, have you thought about this first before you go start building a house? What foundation do you have? And Christine Deane and I were discussing what to do. We have a little bit of an audible we're pulling today, so super fun to be able to dive in to these 4 words. Write these 4 words down, ladies and gentlemen, as you get started. Branding, visibility, promotion, and nurturing. In that order, we're going to be covering those kind of discussion topics and how they all fit together. In
fact, go ahead and drop those in chat so you don't forget, so you don't remember. You can go back and take a look. So drop those in and put those 4 keywords because you absolutely want to remember those.
Awesome. Awesome. I know, Christine, we got a couple of folks that are waiting in the green room, want to participate. I know we have a branding specialist as well that's sitting in there. So anytime you feel like it's appropriate, go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Tim, good to see you. Awesome. We're there.
Hey guys.
So let's go ahead and get some visuals going here in a minute. But before we do that, we always like to start with sharing our story. And this is part of the blueprint. So get ready. You're going to be experiencing something that we talk about in just a minute. Okay. So ultimately, also want to make sure that Tim's microphone is working well. So Tim, if you could adjust that, that'd be great. Ultimately, when it comes to our stories, we want to keep it short and sweet. We want to talk about our background, our aha moments, how and why we help our who, and people like that. So I'll share just a little bit, Christine, maybe you can as well. I was in the nonprofit world for years, loved helping the world. That really brought us to a place where we could connect with our community leadership, and also had a foot in the small business world. So had a lot of fun there, but then found that, gosh, it was just really difficult to find marketing professionals that would do what they say what they do, not use scammy, spammy fear tactics that were kind of weird. And so we started the Giver Marketing Network. It started off as just a regular old marketing company, and then it evolved into this collective. And so now we help causes and companies doing good in the world with our tribe, with our team, with our cohort, and with our compadres in the marketing space. So now we have this network. And that's a little bit about me and how it relates to what I'm involved with now. Christine, do you want to share a little bit of your story?
Well, I got to say, I fell in love with the Giver Marketing Network when I found out your mission and what you do. I'm like, That just aligns perfectly with what I love to do. I always say I love working with mission-driven organizations. And I've always been a sucker for a cause and volunteer work. I'm a teacher. That's where I started, was teaching, taught college communication courses, coached the speech and debate team. Love helping people, right? And so I took some time off, had my kids after teaching, and then decided to enter the workplace and said, well, what am I going to do with myself? And I found that the more and more people kept asking me for advice on marketing and communications and networking. And I'm like, well, I might as well get paid for it. So then I started my own business and absolutely love it. Lets me be able to help all those small business owners, those nonprofits, those solopreneurs, and help them succeed. It's not about me. It's about how I can help other people do what they're doing and make a difference in the world. And I know that's a sweet spot for Tim also.
Great segue. Come on, Tim, bring your story, man. We're excited.
Yeah, I'm similar to yours, Timothy. I have a background in nonprofit and bleeding heart idealist. Always really wanted to make the world a better place. In 2004, started a nonprofit after living in the Dominican Republic for almost 3 years, working for a big church out of Chicagoland. And I started connecting with under-resourced communities in over 30 countries, working with volunteers, going in, trying to address the various forms of poverty and realize that we were just putting Band-Aids on larger social issues that needed more attention and needed to be sustainable and have long-term impact. And so I went to grad school in 2009, and it was with an international program. So people in my cohort were people in ministry all over the world, missionaries and leaders who were serious about community development. Not that I wasn't, but they really knew what they're doing. So it got me thinking, and I just basically had the epiphany that businesses have the financial capital and the human capital to be able to fill in the gaps of society that certainly government's not able to, and churches aren't, and nonprofits are. We're all trying, but if businesses were really to be intentional about thinking what their contribution is, what their noble purpose is, then we could all, as business owners, as business leaders, begin to help in the social issue, whether it's helping, investing in people, in social issues that we care about, or in environmental issues,
and really make a difference,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what your sole direction is right now. Ever since I've known you, you just hyper focused on that. Let's just make the world a better place, and in this specific way. And let's dig into the heartbeat of an organization. Let's go from there. I love that.
You can be profitable as well. That's what people think. Oh yeah, we're not a charity, but you take a brand like Tom's Shoes. That's a multi-million-dollar brand, and they're one that's doing great things in the world. So there's a lot.
Thanks for sharing your story, Tim. Really appreciate that. Joel, tell us a little bit about your background story and how it relates to what you're doing now.
Well, good morning. Yeah, I think it's fun to hear everybody's journey on how they get to their why. And my journey is a little bit different, but kind of in the same theme. And so as Tim is looking at how companies can do good in the world on the outside of their business, my journey started with working with people inside their business and saying, okay, from the human side, how can we reward the people that are driving our business forward? How can we make that business grow and scale so they can employ more people and add to their community in terms of the economic growth within a certain area? And so my career started in the incentive industry and working with productivity awards, absenteeism, suggestion campaigns, safety incentives, really looking at what drives bottom line profits through human behavior. And if we could modify the behavior in a positive way and reward them and encourage them, then it was a win-win for both the company and the people within the company to drive their vision forward. So translating that from corporate world down to the small business, I got a real passion for the regional and local enterprises to be able to say, now how can we take our best practices and what we've learned at the corporate level and bring it down to the local level and really scale it to where an entrepreneur or a small business can actually take advantage of some of these practices and drive their own businesses forward and hire more people and build playgrounds and give to their schools and that sort of thing.
Love it. It's always fun to get the little flavors from everybody, because we're all like a flavor of ice cream in a big ice cream shop. And I always think of it that way because I love ice cream. So super fun. Well, hey, let's jump in. We promised to cover the blueprint. We're going to do it really fast today. We're going to go through maybe 10 minutes for each section. There's 4 sections, and we're going to give you a high overview. And look, these are the non-negotiables, ladies and gentlemen. So just pay close attention, ask lots of questions in the comments, and you'll see some chatter in there even as we go. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Are you from this tribe, this region of the world, that region of the world? Just give us a little clue that you're here, and raise your hand and just let us know that you're in the room. Okay, so really appreciate that. As you know, we are a community of marketing professionals, and you're meeting a few of us here today. I'm Timothy Morgan. This is Christine Deane. We got Tim and Joel and others that really rock and roll with us today. Tim Solmonson is going to be helping us understand branding as it relates to this particular blueprint. He has much more to offer, much more to talk about, but in a short, succinct presentation, we're going to just touch kind of the surface level of branding, some basic tips to make sure that your mind is wrapped around branding in a specific way. And then Christine's going to talk about visibility. I'll talk a little bit about promotion, and Joel's going to talk about nurturing. Then we'll wrap it up and answer any questions that you might have coming through the comments. So we're excited about that. Hey, when it comes to the Giver Marketing Blueprint, I'll set you up here, Tim. It's more than leads, right? I mean, it's a proven strategy for conversations with your audience that actually is heartfelt. It's got a noble purpose kind of built into it because you're relational, you actually care, those kind of things. Our mission at the Giver Marketing Network is really to bring, like we talked about, bringing positive attention to causes and companies that are actually moving the needle in a positive direction. Okay, so we want to partner with those organizations. We do a lot of coaching because we know coaching works. If somebody's humble and hungry, then a coach is worth its weight in gold. And that's why we have all these coaches on today, so we can tag team this, and we're big on collaboration. So this is super fun. Our tribe is the most trusted network of marketing specialists on the planet. We're also the highest rated. So super, super proud to be a part of such a cool group. We got a lot of online, kind words and reviews and feedback going on everywhere. And our core values include collaboration, which you'll see a little bit showcased today. The results is what we really want. We want to lead you and help you and guide you through until we see those results. A little bit of your goals and your vision really just start coming to fruition, coming to pass. In an efficient way, though. We don't want to take 10 years to do something that only takes a few months. You know what I mean? Like, we want to get you there as quickly and efficiently as possible with a good attitude, a high level of transparency. There's nothing that we intentionally hide from you when we work together. Even today, you'll see there's a lot of transparency in our stories. And we bring a lot of energy, and we all have different personalities. So some are more reflective and thoughtful. Some are more Energizer Bunny-ish, if you will. But we just bring our version of that energy. Okay, so who benefits from this? It's you, because you're hungry, coachable, passionate. We're excited. But you might be frustrated with certain aspects of your marketing. So we want to help you break through those barriers today, okay, with some good information. And by the way, not all information is good. You can go online to YouTube channels and different things. People might even be multimillionaires and billionaires, but what they give you is actually just a piece of something that isn't always applicable. It's not always applicable information. We're transitioning from the information age to the wisdom age, where you can apply things well. And so we want to streamline that for you, make it easy for you, because we are a trusted group that can help you do that. There's people like Bob Berg that we recommend grabbing their resources, but let's jump in to the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen. We've coached and collaborated with thousands of organizations, and when it came right down to it, these are always present in successful organizations, always. There's no, have you guys seen any that where they're completely missing one of these four? It doesn't exist. It's like saying that, a person that you talk with is missing a key part of their body or something, and you're trying to dance with them. Like it's very difficult to do. You don't hardly see it. Okay. So it's technically possible for a short period of time, but at some point you got to get all four of these dialed in so you can really dance as a business owner. Okay. So listen, branding is what we're going to start with. And there's a reason we start with it, right, Tim? It's because it's the heartbeat. It's the core. It's how people experience. It's where you start. It's like your persona. It's your personality. Without that, there's nothing that differentiates you. There's no reason for people to pay attention. So let's start with that, and then we'll move to visibility, promotion, and nurturing in that order on purpose. Really important, ladies and gentlemen, we see a lot of people spending money before it's time. We see a lot of people spending time on things that are out of order. So you want to really think through this and like how it flows. It's not rigid, it's fluid, but there's definitely a certain order. You want to swim downstream, not upstream. Okay. So this is how we want to help you do that. All right. So your action assignment today, just ahead of time, so you know what's coming. Okay. So you're not surprised. You're in a masterclass. Like, get ready, buckle up. You're going to be asked to share your origin story somewhere by the time we're done. Okay. By the time Tim's done, he's going to ask you to share your origin story in our private Facebook group. And if you're in a different private Facebook group like Kingdom Warriors, share it there. We all value listening to each other's stories. So let's do that with excellence as we listen to Tim and others. Okay. So there's going to be some other assignments as well. Also worth noting, can kind of set the stage for Tim Solmanson's superpowers. There's a difference between marketing and sales. Can we all nod? Say yes in the chat box or in the comments. If there's a difference between marketing and sales, you can even type it out. There is a difference between marketing and sales. Let's all kind of think on that for just a second. Marketing is everything that happens before decision meetings. If you're thinking of like a relationship, it's like dating versus proposing.
That's right. And you don't propose on the first date, Tim.
I propose on like the fourth date, but yeah, I'm a fast mover, but we get the idea, Christine, and yes, you generally speaking, most of the time, 99% of the time, you do not propose on the first date, especially if it's a high ticket or a very important scenario. Okay. There's exceptions, but for the most part,
build the relationship.
Build the relationship. That's right. So marketing really is the activity of building that trust, build the relationship, and it's everything that happens before a decision meeting, everything that happens before a sale, everything that happens before a large donation, everything that happens before the transaction, everything that happens before these sales, these revenue generating activities actually culminate. Okay. That's all marketing. So you might think, oh, well, what isn't marketing? Very little isn't marketing. Almost everything you do, it reflects who you are and what you do and how you do it. And Tim's going to talk about that in a minute, but we just want to make it really clear. Marketing and sales are a different funnel. They work together, but they're not the same exact thing. Okay. They're definitely connected. One drops into the other, but it's not the same exact thing. We don't train on sales. We don't teach on sales. We don't coach on sales. At least most of us don't. Like, we just don't do that. Marketing is our sweet spot. That's why you're here today. That's what you're about to learn. Okay. So marketing is like getting to the red zone. Sales like getting to the end zone. Who is your who? Tim, tell us. Help us understand. Like, how important is it to find our heartbeat and as it relates to our audience? Like, how do we do this?
Yeah, if you missed it last week, Christine and I tag team. Christine did a fantastic job talking about the aesthetic or the 5 senses of branding, and I thought it was absolutely on point. She expanded it. I've done a similar talk about it, but she actually talked about the application of what you smell like, sound like, look like, feel like, taste like. And those are great exercises for you to think about. That's the aesthetic of your brand. That's the logo, the color scheme, your font style. that's kind of what you feel like. I just did a video, I think yesterday. I think about high school, that you had your jocks, and back in my day, I had the preps, we had the goths. I think they're emos now, the dark kind of negative sort of personality, and they attracted each other. They kind of hung out together typically, right? So that's the aesthetic of the brand. But when it comes down to the core, your brand is, like Timothy was talking about, it is your identity. It's your personal identity. It's your values. Your values, I like to think of it as a journey. When we're talking about branding, it's a journey of transformation. We're walking with people to help them either accomplish something they want to accomplish, be the person they want to be, or have the things that they want to have. And you have to think about what your values are, so you're attracting people that share those values, because you're going to want to work with people that share your values.
So you're saying just put it out there, let the magnetic awesomeness of those values and mission and purpose and everything kind of just like honey, it just draws in, right? The right people, and it becomes a sweet experience. So the right people will begin magnetizing towards you if you're doing what Tim's about to show us when it comes to branding. So that's kind of the idea of who is your who, is make sure that you are actually being authentic to your noble purpose, your mission, your purpose, your authentic self. Otherwise, you will confuse your audience and you will confuse yourself. So let's do that, okay? Let's talk about this definition. It's a definition. It's a good one of branding. Your brand represents the sum total of experiences found in the marketplace. This equates to how you've carved your reputation. So keywords, right, Tim? Experience, reputation, how people actually, the next slide talks about how people feel when they're around you. Like this, we're not anti-feeling and anti-emotion in the business world, right? We're humans, right? Tim, can you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah, when you consider the way that you show up in the world as a business, it's going to be a reflection of who you are, and when you look at the kind of people that you want to be around, there are the attributes that you're attracted to. So whether it's your values, the shared vision of where you're going together, whether it's a mission, how you're getting there together, all these things are an important part of attracting the kind of people that you want to work with, and being able to help them succeed, because obviously you're going to be able to speak the language, you're going to be able to understand their problems, their pain points. These are the things that most businesses, I'm finding, they don't get down to the niche of really what problem they're solving for their client, and nor are they doing a great job of communicating what they really care about and how they're making the world a better place.
What a sense of relief when you're able to solve somebody's problem and you bring a sense of clarity, creativity, consistency to really keeping that problem at bay and relieving, like, thank you, Tim, for helping me get a clarity on my brand and my noble purpose. Thank you, Christine, for bringing that sense of ideation and creativity and like thinking outside the box. And Joel, thanks for helping make sure there's a consistency and a rhythm to everything we're doing. Like, I feel like I'm a real business owner now. Like, we're going to take over the world kind of a thing. It's just a matter of kind of how long that runway is and how we're going to be able to fly. And that is really the feeling that many of us have felt in working together. And also, Tim, you mentioned the 5 senses. This is just a good way for us to evaluate when we walk into a room or meet somebody or experience somebody's physical location or online presence or whatever that may be. There's at least 2 or 3 of those present in every interaction with another human being, even online, right? You and Christine talked about this last week. So for those who want to dig deeper, just go last week. But I'll just mention this, Tim, as we move to the next slide. The first 2, sight and sound, is what you're experiencing right now. Anything on video is sight and sound combined, right? Hello, duh. It's like obvious. I shouldn't even have to say that, right? But I just want to make it clear, like, these are super important. And you don't have to be a scientist to understand that these are present in many of our meetings. So be clear. I did a consultation with a gym yesterday. I'm like, look, how do people experience this? How does it smell in here? How's it? What foods do you have on the countertop? Like, what does everything feel like when you touch it? What does it look like? It sounds, the music going, like everything that we do, the quality of our microphone, like everything we do. And video is so important. Tim, you have a background in video. Can you speak to this just for a second before we move on?
Well, I just got an email from a friend. He's a videographer, and he quoted some statistics that if you do not have video as a part of your storytelling, then you are missing out on 60% of people in the marketplace who click off of people who don't have a story to tell through video. Because honestly, people, they're not wanting to read things. If they do, it's bullet points. And you're not going to tell a great story with bullet points, quite frankly. You're going to tell a story, even as a YouTube short, a 60-second or a 30-second Instagram post. That's going to have a lot more traction than, some really brainy, beautiful quote that, people have to read, unfortunately.
Hey, those long articles are good for SEO, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But when it comes right down to the power punch, the best use of 1 minute is to share your story, ladies and gentlemen. So Tim, walk us through what the action assignment is for our audience when it comes, and for our people, right? For when it comes to this branding piece, as we wrap this section up and we kind of land the plane here. You just talked about it just for a second, but we want everybody, wherever you're listening to this, post your origin story. Can you explain a little bit of this origin story, Tim?
Yeah, I think obviously everyone loves a good story, and a good story has a challenge, has a struggle, and the struggle is the aha moment. It's when you in your life, when I was trying to save the world, and I was out there, working with people, and it just was a lot of struggle. It was a financial struggle. It was the physical struggle. I mean, we're eating bugs and sleeping on dirt floors, right? And that wasn't the part that I hated. The part that I hated was that we weren't making as much a difference as I wanted. So when you tell your origin story, talk about your struggle, because everyone wants to root for the underdog. No one wants to root for the champion, the best, the biggest, the tallest, the fastest. They all want to root for the underdog. So position yourself in vulnerability, saying, listen, I was there. I understand your pain. I know where your struggles were. And then I had this epiphany. I had this breakthrough. I had this incredible, experience. And now people are riveted, and they're like, that's amazing. That's great. I want that. So,
and just to be clear, right, we're not asking people to make up a story. This is their real, authentic, true story. Look, if you just started your business, Christine is like, yes, the good reminder, because a lot of people make up stories like fake it till you make it. No, we're not. That's not what we do. We tell the little bit that we've learned or the little bit we've overcome, and we package that into a true, authentic origin story. And then later on, your origin story might shift a little bit, but it's still going to include those early days. So you might have an expanded version or a snippet from later in the journey or something like this. But your origin story really doesn't, I guess, change in its aspects. It just shifts as you grow. And then it becomes this snippet of like, oh, okay, I was here, then this happened, and then now I'm here and I want to help you, and we're excited. So there's like different parts of that origin story you can highlight, but if you can do it in 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen, we call it an elevator story as well, because on that elevator ride, if you're in an elevator with a perfect client, what's the best use of 1 minute? Maybe ask them a quick question and share your origin story. That's it. Like, that is the best use of 1 minute. They will never forget you. You'll probably be able to find them later and follow up with them. Just ask good questions and learn how to tell your origin story. If you do that one thing, your sales opportunities, for the very least, will go through the roof. Okay. And when you're in a networking meeting, when you're in an online meeting, when when you're starting a podcast, when you're doing any of that, this is why this is non-negotiable. We want you to do this assignment. It's the most difficult assignment we're going to ask you to do today. Everything else is easy peasy.
And you know what, Timothy, I'm going to go ahead and point out one of the words that Tim said was being vulnerable. Sharing something that showed the struggle, right? A lot of people are afraid to be vulnerable, but that's really what makes it human. And that's what makes it relatable. And that's what really helps draw us into the story. So that's an important part of it. You can't just gloss that part over.
Come on. I love it. Okay, Christine, now that we've kind of made the challenge for this actually fairly difficult for some people to be that vulnerable and just share your story. Once you've decided to do that, give me a yes in the comments if you're going to share your origin story within the next 24 hours. Give me a yes in the comments if you're going to share your origin story in some group, in some way, in the next 24 hours. Just give me a yes, because I want to see other people encouraging each other that this is that important. And then
and they might do it in a group, Timothy, but if they want some feedback on that, right, and they want to get some feedback from some of our marketing experts, if they do that in our group, right, we can give them a nice, safe place with a bunch of feedback from our marketers that give them some ideas on how to run forward, because maybe they're nervous about putting that in a group that they don't, they haven't shared like that before in.
There you go. Yeah, put it in the Kingdom Warriors holders group or the Giver Marketing Network group or some group that you have some friends. And by the way, if you share your origin story and you get negative feedback from people, like weird feedback where it's just like, you suck and you're horrible, why did you do that? You need to leave that group. Like, that's not the right group for you. Like, get in a group where I love that you said that, Christine. Thank you for doing that. All right, so take a screenshot, ladies and gentlemen, of this. If you need kind of your 1-2 step guide, it's just a guideline. You can play with it, have some fun with it, but we just want to hear your story. I literally want to hear your story. I'm like super excited right now. Okay, so we just checked off the branding piece. Took a little bit of time for us to get through that because of all the setup and everything, but we are now cooking with grease. Like we're rocking and rolling, Christine. Can you help us with visibility? What does visibility mean? Like, why do we even use
visibility
that word?
is so important. Do you exist? Are you sure you exist? Does anybody else know that you exist? I'm just saying, it's not a guarantee, right? So can we find you if we're looking for you? And if we can't find you when we go to look for you, and I'm sure we've all been to that point where we've gone on to the great Google and we've typed something in and we can't find what we're looking for. And it's so frustrating. So if somebody wants to do business with you, if someone wants to support your nonprofit, if somebody wants to help get involved with your noble purpose, and they can't find you, they're going to get frustrated and they're going to give up, right? So we need to be able to find you.
Do some exercises. Try to find yourself, right?
Absolutely. Try and find yourself. If you can't find yourself, you got problems, right? You need to go in, see if the information's correct. Is it even, is it the right information? Can they still find you? Is it an old phone number? Is it an old location? Right? I know for me, if you look up for DFW Networking Diva, I am her. You will find me. Right? Very carefully crafted brand. So your brand we need to be able to find you.
And they can find you if they spell your name out too, right? You can be found in multiple ways.
Especially
if you use the E at the end of Deane, right? Then you'd be good.
There's an E at the end. There's times that they try and find me without the E and they still find me anyway.
Oh, okay.
So that's good stuff right there, right? So do you own your own website? That's a great way for visibility. It could be your name. It could be the name of your business. There's a lot of different options there, right? I know some people do both, right? It's nice to have that there. I've got mine. And actually, I lie. I've got my future name since I'm engaged. Right. So free platforms and directories, right? Take a look at your Google business profile. That is completely free, right? There is no reason not to go in. If you're already on there, claim it. If you're not on there, go create it, right? And Google Business Profile has some rules on there, right? On whether you're an online only and you work, they don't like online only businesses. They like you to have a service area or a brick and mortar store. So you have to know that going in so you know how to create this, because you can get caught in the red tape of Google My Business and then you're lost, right? It'll take you months to get that thing figured out again. Once they've got you on their list, you're in trouble, right? And it takes a long time. It's taken me months sometimes to get my clients back out of the the trouble spot on that one. So really, you want to talk to somebody if you haven't done it before. Facebook, totally free, right? Do you have a Facebook business page? Do you have a Facebook business group? What do you have to represent your business? Where are you collecting your tribe, right? If people are going to come find you, can they find you? LinkedIn, once again, free completely. It's a great business realm to play with. So if your ideal client is especially if you're like B2B, business to business, right? That's a place you want to be playing. If you want to work with other professionals, that's a great place to make those connections.
Christine, some people get overwhelmed with a list like this. Can we put them at ease that this is not like they have to have a listing on every single directory of all time? Like, can you guide us through that just a little bit? Because I'm feeling it right now too. So
you're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. That's right. Start with one, right? Start with one. If you don't have it all done today, that's okay, right? Start with one, learn the ropes, get used to it, right? Once you start feeling more confident, then be ready to branch into another one, right? Pick your favorite spot and start there first, right?
Love
Where
it.
you think your
Love
people are, and start at that spot. Because I know, with marketing, I work with a lot of businesses or nonprofits, right? So a lot of times I'll play on the LinkedIn space, but I find a lot of the nonprofits are hanging out on Facebook, right? So I kind of play back and forth. So pick your spot that you're comfortable and start there.
Joel said just play in your own sandbox. I love that imagery. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, each one of these are worth thousands of dollars for your business. Some of them are
absolutely.
Some are worth tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands if you use them right. We know
I've had people reach out and said, oh, I saw your post on LinkedIn. I didn't realize you did such and such, or, oh, your post on site, right? And they'll reach out and talk to you. So if you can get your LinkedIn set up well, right, it will bring people to you, kind of like the website we were talking about, right? It'll bring people to you. YouTube, Timothy was just talking about video. I mean, YouTube's huge, right? I believe it's the second most popular search location, right? When you're looking for stuff. So, don't underestimate. And don't worry, nobody's expecting perfection the first time. And even if it's not perfect, it still adds a human element to it so we can relate to it, right? But you got to start somewhere, right? I know that the introverts are probably going, oh man, no, I don't want to do that video thing. Start small and work your way up from there. It gets easier the more you do it. It's kind of like the first time you do anything, right? The first time you tied your shoes, it was a lot complicated. Now you can do it and not even think about it, right? And everything works that way. So the more practice, the easier it's going to get. So don't panic if you haven't done videos before. Start off gentle and just keep practicing.
You can even do a private channel before you go public. Just practice. But look, some of those, like Christine said, some of those first videos are the most authentic and super engaging. So I just talk with one of us or Christine or Visibility Vicky or some of the other team members, and they'll walk you through step A, B, and C on this. And Christine, for sake of time, look, there's dozens and dozens of these directories. Twitter is another one. There's bunches of them. Depending on your persuasion politically and different things, you're going to be on different channels. Like whatever. Like just find your, like Joel said, your sandbox. Play with that. And we do have free tools to help you understand where you're actually listed. So somebody type this link in the comments.
I'm going to go ahead and drop that in. I'm going to drop that in chat. This way, everybody can see it, and so they can just click on that. That's the Given Marketing Visibility tool. So that's in chat. Go ahead and click on that and check that out.
Good. So that tool will be there for you to be able to get some feedback. It's a free tool with an option to get some help if you need it. But we're here to help you get a 0 error rate on your listings. And those listings alone set you up for something called search engine optimization. We didn't use SEO on purpose when we talked about this module because there's a foundation before you get into real heavy search engine optimization that we just covered. Get listed on some of these. Get yourself some reviews going on Google. Christine, for sake of time, we're going to move through this pretty quickly, but any comments on this?
Oh, I love Google reviews. Go in, and sometimes you got great ones. Sometimes you may not. Sometimes I might be somebody that has never been to your location. You're like, why did you just make that up? Right? It happens. It's okay. People are looking at how you respond to them also. So be graceful, gentle. Yeah. Right? Even though when they say things you don't like, right? Appreciate their feedback and look for opportunities for improvement. Think of it as an opportunity for you to go, oh, I didn't realize that was the case. Let me work on that.
Love it. I love your approach to most everything marketing, Christine. It's really awesome. Go to givermarketing.com/kind words, ladies and gentlemen, and see what pops up for you. You can experience this tool that's on the screen firsthand. You can give us some kind words online, get our ratings going up. And then when you go to get yours, just reach out and we'll try to reciprocate at some point. Okay. So go to givermarketing.com/kind words to see an example of how this works. Okay. And this is a tool that is the easiest way to get reviews, because 84% of people trust multiple online reviews as much as they do a friend's recommendation. It's a statistic. It's a fact, and it's actually become even more. Like, the more we use online tools, the more those online reviews are valuable. So they're going to get more valuable as time goes on, not less valuable. Okay, so we want to keep that moving. Christine, can we talk? Let's move off of the from the online world just for a second. Let's pretend you and I are in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and we're about to go have a coffee somewhere. How do we even think through this in today's world? How does this work?
Well, yeah, visibility is more than just online, right? If you're out and about, you think about the brick and mortar stores, we got to get people there somehow. How are you getting people there? Are your signs clear? I don't know about you, but when I drive down the street and I see where the signs and half the letters are blacked out so you can't see the whole name of something, I just shake my head. It's like, oh, you're killing me. You're killing me here. The branding, right? Can we find your location? Can we read your signs? All this is just nice and simple. Anything from your business cards to your handouts to your flyers to, this is all visibility. All of that.
It's all part of that visibility as it kind of bleeds into promotion, no pun intended, using some print language there. But listen, if somebody has a difficult time finding you online or offline, you have a problem to solve. So even something as simple as like, hey, let's meet at the Starbucks in town. Wait a minute. Which Starbucks? Because there's so many of these at least in North America and in a lot of parts of the world. So like, which one? Why not meet at a mom and pop that has a cool vibe? It kind of reflects your brand a little bit, and like meet in an experience where there's only one of them. It's unique. And you might be able to introduce them to a new drink or something. Like, have some fun with it. Like, let them experience you in the environment that you're meeting in. Your office should be very easy to locate. Don't be the best kept secret in town if you're a restaurant. Like, come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Let's get people in the doors. Okay, let's do that. All right, so that your visibility micro assignment, as we move quickly through the next 2 modules here, is to post your visibility results, or at least the link to your results, using that special URL that Christine put in the comments earlier. So go grab that. And if it's being lost, somebody repost it, double check it, make sure it's working on that particular platform, because we know how these social media platforms sometimes work. So let's make sure it's working. You use the full URL, make sure it's all working for you guys. And then you can post that in your respective groups. Okay. All right. I'm going to talk about promotion for about 5 minutes. And then Joel's going to land the plane today, because we have a hard stop today at the top of the hour. Okay. So promotion does matter. We do not spam. Say it in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. I do not spam. I do not spam. It's very important. We are changing the marketing world one person at a time by pulling them out of the spam abyss, like whatever you want to call this. Like, it's just not a good place to be. You'll get sucked into it so fast, especially as a marketing professional. You'll think you have to be the best spammer in the world to be successful. It's not true. Join a network or a group like ours that understands that spamming is not necessary. Informing, value-driven, purpose-driven, all that. Yeah, that'll last for decades. But spamming lasts for like 12 seconds. And it actually does more harm than good in the long run. So let's talk about promotion. Whenever you're putting a promotion together, whether it's print or online, follow this guideline and it will help you get started. You can even put some prompts in ChatGPT or some other AI tools to help you get a nice promotion guideline going, but use these kind of concepts here, okay? Inform your audience. In other words, don't leave them in the dark. Give them a call to action and then engage them with a meaningful dialogue, if at all possible. A lot of times we use questions to do that, okay? So inform them, call to action, engage with some kind of dialogue. Asking good questions is a really smart way to either include in the copy or include in the engagement at the very least. Don't forget the power of good questions. Don't gamble. Measure your results when it comes to promotion. And by the way, when most people think of marketing, they think of promotion. This is the module we're talking about right here, okay? It's usually advertising or getting the word out. It's some kind of promo. You're promoting something. You're pushing it out, okay? This is not quite the same as the power of like search engine optimization, where people are being drawn into you, okay? So they work together. One's an outreach and one's more like it's more like it draws people in, okay? So we just talked about visibility that draws people in and makes it easy for them to find you and all that. But what about the rest of the audience, the other 98% of people that haven't heard about you yet? This is where promotion comes in. Don't gamble. Make good decisions. You know, some of the best qualities of an entrepreneur is grit and good decision making. There's others as well, but those are two like non-negotiables. Like you need to get really good at making good decisions when it comes to where to spend your time and your money and what resources to use and who to hang out with and who to learn from and all this. So when you're promoting, think of this acrostic. Referrals, that's like the king of the castle, okay? Events, print, online, some kind of audio or radio experience, some kind of visual or television or video experience. That's a good acrostic to consider. Pick one or two of these and kill it. Like get your ROI going in one or two of these, and then start spending the excess budget on a third one, and then maybe a fourth one down the road. And then before you know it, you got a full strategy, a full campaign that us as coaches understand the power of the layering of these things. But listen, at the beginning, it doesn't matter what your Uncle Harry says about marketing. Start with one or two and dominate. Get those referrals going. Make it like a machine. Like, how do you ask for referrals? How do you do this? How do you encourage people, incentivize people, like beg and plead? No, I'm just kidding. But like really just get the word out that you're serious about what you're doing and get your promotion on. Okay. So with that, we're going to kind of land the plane here, and we're going to ask you to post something. This is the easiest assignment of all time right here. We're going to post some kind of promotion. Yes, it's self-promotion, ladies and gentlemen. We're asking you to do this. This is a double positive. Okay. It's a action assignment, check, but it's also a promoting of what you're doing. So make it good. Doesn't have to be great. We just want to see it. We want to see what you're doing, what you're putting out there to the public. Put it in the group that you're seeing this in, or the channel you're seeing this in. Find us. Our group is in the lower right corner. You're probably in another group right now watching this. So post it wherever you're seeing this, and let's make sure and get you some good feedback and get you moving in that direction. Joel, how did I do? Did I do good? Did I do okay?
Fantastic.
Oh, man, I'm excited. Okay, so we brought Joel in as our nurturing expert about 2 years ago. Our network has never been the same. There's something about nurturing an audience before and after the sale. You go from basically being able to close 1 to 3% of your audience to like 15 to 20%. It's a 10x experience. Okay, so Joel, no pressure, but this is what we're going to talk about, right? So walk us through this. Like, how important are some of these nurturing moments?
Well, I think it's important to recognize that if you're spending all this, time and resources building your brand, getting your name out, doing your promotion, well, we have a slogan, no cold traffic, dead end. So we want to make sure that we're capturing everything that you've invested, all of that traffic, and then providing the opportunity for them to get to know you, like you, trust you through value-based information. So
why do we do this?
We know that it's not a one-call close. We know the customer journey is not a straight line. So we need to repeatedly reach out to them, provide value-based information. So you can see here, it's a series of multiple touches and opportunities for them to interact with you.
It seems like most decisions are made after several interactions, right? It's not just one and done. It's not a one call close. It's not always be closing. It's always be marketing, right?
It's always, and we talked about this early on. It's about building a relationship, right? So we want to make sure that when people receive something from you, that it's something they want to receive. The anti-spam rule, we said stay away from it. There's no nutritional value in a can of spam, right? We want to give people things that are going to feed them, encourage them, and encourage them to engage with you.
Okay, so what happens after this introduction, like this light story-based introduction where you're not really pushing something at somebody before you even know or before they even ask you for more information? How does this work?
Yeah, so we want to engage them in a conversation. So, a little brief email, it just kind of gives them an opportunity to identify what problems they're trying to solve, ways for them to engage with you, whether it's a conversation on social media, response to an email, or setting a booking link. And then, of course, by giving them something of value that they want, whether it's content-based or like in this case, a physical gift, right? A recommendation, a referral. Maybe they're not going to get their problem solved with you directly, but a way for them to have that solution provided to them. And so maybe you say, listen, I've got this great person over here. I know they can help you. I will make a quick introduction and go on. And then you're going to be remembered for that.
Who is it? Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn or one of those amazing iconic figures that said, help other people find what they want and you'll get what you want, basically, was the kind of the gist. That's what this is right here. And it comes from principles that are widely known. Love it.
Yeah. And as you're building your relationship, a lot of it's one-on-one. And if you can get to invite them into one of your groups, join an event, come to a business meeting, places where they'll be by you being visible, right? And interacting with them, that continues to build that relationship.
This sets you up as a humble, subtle authority in a room because you're already present. You've already been invited. Now you're inviting them to that room, or it could be vice versa as well. But the point is you're both in the same room. There's a sense of camaraderie and connectedness. Love these last couple of ones as well. They're very underutilized. These last two are very interesting.
It's amazing. Again, the memory value really sticks when you take a minute to actually engage with someone on a personal level. And so if it's just, and I'm not even saying do a happy birthday card, although those are wonderful, but you can see, we call it social listening, right? You can see things that are going on in people's businesses and personal lives as you continue to be engaged with their messaging services, whether it's on social media or their LinkedIn profile, and then by simply responding, right? And sending them a personal note. Hey, I noticed that was an issue for you. I suffered the same way, and this is how I dealt with it. If you want to have a personal conversation, hit me up. I'm happy to chat.
There's really no excuse in today's world to have a lack of channels to be able to message somebody, right? I mean, if you have their cell phone number, you can text them. If you have their address, you can send them something. If you have if you see them on social media, you can ping them and send them a private message. There's really not an excuse at that point. It's really a matter of who you actually want to feel more connected to and care about. And you can be selective on this. It could be 10 people a week. It could be 100, depending on who you are and how you're doing it, it could be a select few people. But we like to send out happy birthday month cards. That's super fun because you can batch them all at the very tail end of the previous month, send them all out, and everybody gets their happy birthday month card. You only have to do it 12 times a year. It's kind of different. It's early. It's interesting. It's just enough to be memorable. I've seen people put Christmas and July gifts out in the mail coming up in the middle of the summertime or in the middle of the year. And it's super powerful because people aren't expecting it. It's something totally different and then the rest of whatever they're getting. And that's just the mail. That's not including social and all these other ways that we've been giving out cryptocurrency as just a random gift to people who have just got on our radar. So it's super fun to be able to just play with that. Joel, what about this almighty phone call? We have some friends and team members and associates who they really just leverage the phone.
Well, it's interesting. The customer's journey nowadays, the phone call that they make to you is after they've made the decision of what they're going to buy. So what's happening now is the customer journey is I do all my own research. I gather as much information as I can before I reach out and talk to a person. And so anytime we can break this monitor glass and become a personal relationship with the person on the other end, you're going to have a lot higher level of success. And the phone just gives you an opportunity to do that. So, it's interesting when you've had several interactions online and then you got a phone call from that person. It's like, oh my God, it's alive. We're actually talking, right? The virtual world has become so voyeuristic that we lose the personal touch. And so this is what the role of the phone now is much more a spearhead than it used to be. And it's actually a very vital part of success.
I would say, especially if you have a high ticket item, do not avoid the phone. Like, make sure that the phone is either a warming up conversation for a Zoom chat, or it's a part of the equation, or an after the fact, after the sale, even. Like, just use the phone in a very personal and relational way. And some might say, well, I'm not really big on the phone. Like, I get a little bit of like, it's not fear. It's just like, what do I do? Like once I pick up the phone, well, reach out to somebody and ask them how to do a discovery call in 10 minutes. Like, reach out to one of us. That's not even sales at that point. You're just starting a conversation. You're not trying to close a deal on every single phone call. You're just trying to touch base. It's
and I think one of the most powerful phone calls is a thank you, because you're probably going to get a voicemail anyway. So, I find that the very strongest phone call comes after the sale, or after a good meeting, or after a virtual meeting, to be able to call and say, hey, I just really appreciated our time together today. If you have any other questions, here's my direct cell number.
I love that, Joel. I love that.
So good. And it says don't leave voicemails here, but there are times, especially after the sale, to leave a short voicemail. It makes it really clean and clear. You're not sitting there trying to sell them something over a voicemail. Hey, I was calling because you showed interest in this product, and I just want to let you know we got a sale for the. No. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what Joel just described as an actual genuine, empathetic, like, hey, thank you for this, or hey, here's my cell if you need to, text me or call me back. I just want to make sure, we're available. Like, anything around that kind of vibe is going to be worth its weight in gold. It's just really rare nowadays. And we have extended associates and others who that's all they do. They just make phone calls for like dentists and lawyers and, high-end ticket items and just different things. So let's make sure those phone calls are at least considered. And if nothing else, learn how to do a discovery call. That right there alone can bridge the gap between more sales and not. And some people even call them sales calls. They're not, because all you're selling is the next appointment. But ultimately, we consider that a marketing touch point. It's a phone call that warms everybody up and builds the trust exponentially. It's probably one of the fastest ways to build trust is a quick phone call. Okay. Right behind a Zoom chat, but those oftentimes get intimidating for some people. So it's a good to include that either before the sale or after the sale. Okay. All right. So your nurturing micro assignment, Joel, is to post some of your steps, right?
Yeah. Put in there how you're doing. What do you do to nurture your relationships? And we'd love to give you some feedback and some tips on how to make that effective.
Cool. Well, thanks for landing the plane today with us, Joel. I know you got to bounce to your next appointment. We're going to wrap up here. And anybody who has any questions, well, I'm going to stick around for another 5 minutes. Christine, Tim, I'm not sure if you're able to or not, but we'd love to answer your questions. If you have those in the comments about branding, visibility, promotion, nurturing, and there's all sorts of other goodies that we have that we weren't able to get time for today. But thanks again, Joel. Really appreciate you today. Thank you.
Take care.
And Tim and Christine. Christine, any questions that came in through the comments or that we might have just to kind of make sure we don't leave any loose ends?
Well, goodness, we've got a lot of comments coming in, and some of them I accidentally clicked on earlier, popped, and it said all these letters, and it's because somebody was sharing a document with us because they were already doing the homework assignments.
Come
They were
on, I
sharing,
love it.
yeah, I was like, what is that? I thought I'd click on it and like, oh,
They're doing a great job.
so, yeah, I'm excited.
Somebody
I
needs to give
see
them some extra loves, some extra likes, some extra hearts, and give them some extra encouragement for doing that because they're a person of action, people of action.
Absolutely. I see some
get things done.
presentations they shared, some Canva designs they shared. Right. So they're jumping in with both feet. I love that. Right. I'd love to see who else is going to share some more good stuff with us. So I'm looking forward to hopping into some of those and seeing what they're up to and what they're working on. Our businesses are so diverse and we have so many opportunities, right, to share what we do. So I love seeing how other people are getting creative with it. Oh, we've got people saying they're not going to spam. So we appreciate that, whether it's a spammy phone call or a spammy email. That's awesome.
We made some good in the world today, Tim and Christine. We've removed the I guess the temptation to try to actually try to leverage that spam lever. And it's just not a good one. It's a trap door. It's just not a good one for you to go down. So thank you for posting that in the comments. We feel like we've saved some people from a lot of pain today. So that's good.
Someone else is talking about your own website is your own real estate. And it is, right? That's your spot to put represent your brand and let everybody know who you are. I love that. Somebody else is talking about had a client make an imperfect reel and that they've had 1,000 views in less than 24 hours. Video works. And I've been putting up stuff of the dog. And so him terrorizing me in the household. And, you'd laugh at things that make people laugh, right? If you can get people's attention and make them laugh, you could start there and then start conversations from there, right? There's lots of opportunities.
So fun. So fun. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, as Christine's looking through more of the comments, I want to challenge you to look up Tim Solmonson. You can see the spelling of his name on the screen. Look him up on LinkedIn, on Facebook, any other channel that you're on right now. And same with Christine Deane. Really want to encourage you to reach out to each other that are in the comments right now and give each other thumbs up and connect with each other in the comments. It's a great place to network in these kind of live events like this. And also connect with your hosts and those who have just poured a little bit of their knowledge and their wisdom into you today. We want to thank them by just encouraging you to reach out to them so they can continue that journey with you. Okay.
I found it. There's Tim
right there. Good. So we got some easy ways to connect with Tim. And of course, you can reach out to Christine Deane and then look us all up on socials, and then we'll make sure and reply to you. We are either replying personally to all of our social messages, or we have a trusted team member who's helping us do that and make sure that we're responding to people in a timely manner, because every message is important. Okay. So reach out to each one of us in one way, shape, or form, and to each other in the comments. And we'll see you next Tuesday for this same style masterclass, but a different topic. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then Christine, before we leave, can you mention what we do on Wednesdays just real quickly?
Yes, I love Tuesdays with our masterclasses, but Wednesday is a lot of fun. If you're in the marketing space or a marketer, be sure to invite them to our networking for marketers. It's something new that we've started up on Wednesdays. So that's Wednesdays. I'm going to scroll that across 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Go givermarketing.com/networking. And so we're helping other networkers to work together, learn and grow together, how to white label each other, how to stay up on marketing trends and topics. So it's going to be a great place to hang out. So come join us. That's on Wednesday. So that's tomorrow.
All right. So today was a fire hose, but listen, you can always pause this, rewind it. This is a masterclass that people have paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for. Okay. We just happened to do it together. We wanted to bless you today. We wanted to give you an overview. Without these 4 pieces in place, it's very difficult to make good marketing decisions. Mm-hmm. It's really, really difficult. You can get lucky every once in a while, but if you want consistent results, these 4 things have to be continually improved and practiced just like any other art or science. Okay. It's a craft. It's something that you want to practice. Okay. So God bless you guys. And if you have any questions, just reach out to one of us and we'll help you. And we're glad to be able to do that. Okay. God bless. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. Talk to you soon. Bye.